Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Sean Hennessy here with you, joined alongside me, Kirsten Fairchilds. We're broadcasting to you live from Archbishop Mitty High School. It's the WCAL matchup of the week. It's Bellarmine versus Archbishop Mitty. It doesn't get any better than this. The Bells coming into this matchup with a record of 3-1. The Monarchs are also 3-1 on the season. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com pregame show. Kirsten, the WCAL, arguably the toughest division in the entire San Francisco Bay Area. When these two teams face off each and every year, it's just the biggest, most talked about matchup in the entire CCS.
Well, pundits might say the West Catholic Athletic League. You could say that about any sport that they compete in, and they certainly say that about football. Archbishop Mitty having a rare night game. This is the only game of the season, Sean, where they are allowed to bring in the temporary lights and face off in their homecoming rivalry game against the Bellarmine Bells. And to talk about what a great matchup we have, Bellarmine ranked number 3 this week by the San Jose Mercury News. Archbishop Mitty is 4. Sarah, number 1. Oak Grove, number 2. So this is it. This is the key matchup between number 3 and number 4 here at Mitty in San Jose tonight.
Now, Bellarmine, if you take a look at these two schedules, Bellarmine faced off earlier in the season against one of those schools that everybody knows about, the De La Salle Spartans up there in Concord, California. They were defeated by De La Salle 41-7, a humbling defeat up there, Kirsten, and really their only score came on defense. It was a fumble recovery for a touchdown, so now they've had a chance to kind of work their way through the early portion of their schedule. But with that type of humbling defeat, when they go down against De La Salle like they did at San Jose City College, how do you see them basically moving from that loss and progressing through the rest of their schedule?
Well, since De La Salle was so dominant for so many years, I think a number of Catholic schools in Northern California know what it's like to be beaten soundly by De La Salle. And remember, it was just a year ago that De La Salle beat Bellarmine in OT, 26-23. Bellarmine had missed a point after attempt that would have given them the win in regulation. So I think there's still a lot of pride regarding that. Bellarmine, when they played De La Salle in the opener, De La Salle was ranked number 3 in the nation, and Bellarmine came in and they really could not do anything against the De La Salle defense, which on its own was ranked number 3 in the nation. And that, I think, was kind of disheartening for the offense, but boy, they sure rebounded the next few weeks. Put up 20 in a shutout of San Leandro, beat Piedmont Hills 56-7, and then beat a really tough Reardon team 28-10. So Bellarmine has shown it can show points. I do think I need to mention, Sean, however, in that loss to De La Salle, Bellarmine lost 2 key starters. Aaron Chapman, the running back, who's out for the season with an ACL. Boy, I'm sure Bellarmine sorely misses him.
Oh, yeah.
But then the good news is that they will perhaps get Francisco Gonzalez back from a elbow injury, so that's good news. Francisco Garcia, excuse me, that's good news for the Bells. Remember, Bellarmine only 1 starter returned from last year's squad.
A squad last year that was such a great football team. They went to the bowl championship game down there in Southern California. Were defeated by Santa Margarita 42-37 last year in the state bowl championship game over at the Home Depot Center in Carson, California. Folks, if you're just tuning in, it's the PlayOnSports.com pregame show. Kirsten Fairchilds to my left. I'm Sean Hennessy. Both these teams putting up a total of, get ready for this, 111 points on the season. How about that? Both these two offenses, 111 points by both offenses. You talk about Bellarmine. Bellarmine has 6 CCS championships in football under their belt. You take a look at Archbishop Mitty. The last time they were able to capture a CCS title in football, you got to go back to 1999, and they knocked off Jefferson by a score of 49-6. Only 1 CCS title appearance since then. So if you're Archbishop Mitty here, Kirsten, what do you got to do differently to get yourselves back up in that CCS title hunt?
Well, I think Mitty is off to a great start. They open up their season by beating Los Gatos 28-20. Butch Catalico always has the Wildcats ready to go, and I know that Mitty win was a great start. Then they turned around, beat Leland 34-7, then beat Palo Alto 28-27. Palo Alto began the season as the #1 ranked team by the Mercury News. They've had a tough go of it thus far. And then last week, the loss to Sarah, 30-21. They put up some good numbers statistically. Right now, I'd have to say, of course, Sarah is the team to beat in the West Catholic Athletic League and in the San Francisco Bay Area.
How about that schedule you just mentioned?
Brutal.
Palo Alto, Los Gatos. I mean, and Sarah, that is just a dirty schedule to start off the year. But Archbishop Mitty is here tonight to get back to 1-1 in the WCAL. You mentioned that loss last week to Sarah. Both teams 3-1 coming into this matchup. Bellarmine, Archbishop Mitty, folks. It doesn't get any bigger than this. That's going to do it for the PlayOnSports.com pregame show. When we come back, we'll kick things off live for you here from Archbishop Mitty High School. You're tuning in to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Welcome to Friday Night Football, presented to you by PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Sean Hennessy here with you, joined to my left, Kirsten Fairchilds, broadcasting to you live from Archbishop Mitty High School. It's the Bellarmine Bells taking on the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs. Both teams 3-1 on the year. Bellarmine 1-0 in the WCAL, and Archbishop Mitty 0-1. Mitty coming off a tough defeat last week to Sarah, so they're trying to get back to 1-1 in league play. Well, you take a look at these two squads here tonight, folks. It doesn't get any bigger in terms of this WCAL matchup. Archbishop Mitty actually lost twice last year to Bellarmine, 29-0 in the CCS playoffs. They faced off twice. If you combine the two scores, once in the regular season, once in the postseason, 57-19. So, Kirsten, it's been all Bellarmine for at least the past two matchups.
Well, but Coach Haniger for Mitty was quick to point out they look at it as they've split the last 4 meetings, Sean. So it's about how you put the spin on it. And although they came up empty, especially in that CCS game, they obviously had Bellarmine's number the year before.
Bellarmine will be kicking off to start this football game, going right to left on your screen, wearing the all-white uniforms, navy helmets, blue lettering. The Monarchs of Archbishop Mitty going left to right, wearing the all-black uniforms, the gold helmets, and gold lettering. Back deep to return the football, Kyle Evans and Dakari Monroe. They stand at their own 5-yard line. Grant Bush will be kicking things off for Bellarmine. WCAL battle underway from Archbishop Mitty High School. This one will go all the way into the back of the end zone for an automatic touchback, and the Monarchs will start on their own 20. Packed crowd here at Mitty High School in San Jose, California. Temperature hovering just above 68 degrees here this evening. Clouds overhead, but it should be a beautiful evening for high school football here in San Jose. Two highly talked about teams in the San Francisco Bay Area going head-to-head here tonight. Bellarmine 3-1 on the year. Their only loss coming to De La Salle back in week 1, 41-7. They were really shut out offensively. Their only score came via defense on a fumble recovery. But in the meantime, here's the Monarchs of Archbishop Mitty High School down on the field, going left to right on your screen on the 20-yard line. Man in motion from far side over towards the left. Ball pops loose, and we may have a fumble on the first play. Let's take a look. No, that one just stopped early. Defensive line doing their job, a loss of 1 on the play.
Bellarmine with that 5-3 defense, they were blitzing on that first play. They've got some big guys up front, including the defensive tackle, Dominic Luca, the only returning starter from last year's CCS championship team.
Dominic Luca, Kyle Eberton, two of the big names down there on the Bellarmine defensive line. Quarterback Wyatt Hansen directly under center. It'll be second down. He drops back 3 steps, fires far side, pass is caught at the 25. And the receiver goes down around the 26-yard line. Coming up with the reception was Dakota Goulart.
You know what I like about this Mitty Monarch offense, Sean? They have to run the spread, they run the option, they have a lot of balance in the air, on the ground. They can get it done on all cylinders.
This is an offense that is very tricky to handle if you're a defensive front. They are not afraid to pass it and maybe mix it up a little bit and keep it down on a draw, like you said there, Kirsten. A difficult team to follow. 3rd down and 4. 3 wide receivers over towards the right side. Hansen directly under center. He looks near side, flings it, hits his target at the 24, tackled around the 23. A great reception, and coming up with it was Jacob Wesson. He had to jump up, caught it with 2 hands, and then was drilled, but picked up enough for a Monarch first down.
When I asked Coach Matt Haniger earlier in the week if we could only talk about one of your Monarch players, who should it be? A little bit to my surprise, he said the wide receiver, Jacob Wesson. He is a fantastic athlete. He has sure hands, and he set up beyond the first down marker, and that is a sign of a receiver who knows where he is on the field.
Rasmussen, Abad, Mendoza, Franklin, and Iglesia make up the Mitty offensive line. 1st and 10, handoff goes left side, and that one sniffed out from the get-go. Bellarmine bringing the heat right there as Austin Changras delivers the tackle.
Bellarmine, you know, it's kind of surprising that they gave up so many points to De La Salle because their defense is sound. And as you mentioned, we've been talking about in the pregame, they all have their hands full against this balanced Mitty squad. But Bellarmine is fantastic. They have a defense-minded coach.
Keep your eye on Oligabodi, the middle linebacker down there for Bellarmine. He's a big boy, and he will blitz. He's showing blitz right now. Here he comes. Hansen fires and delivers. That's a first down. It's caught by Wesson as he's drilled at the 50-yard line. It takes 3 Bells defenders to bring him down, but he catches close to 15 yards right there through the air.
Wesson, two catches that results in first downs. I think we're going to have a lot of fun watching him play tonight.
Wesson, the wide receiver, number 34 on your screen, lining up in the slot. He's the bunch wide receiver down there for Mitty. 1st and 10 following the completion as Mitty crosses over into Bellarmine territory. They have it on the Bells 49-yard line, going left to right. 9 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter. No score between Bellarmine and Mitty. 3 wide receivers lined up towards the left side. Hansen keeps it. He's tripped up around the 40-yard line. Delivering the tackle was Nick Russo.
Hansen was a cornerback last year. That's how he made his contribution to this Mitty squad, and we saw some nimble feet on that first run as Hansen called his number for the first time.
2nd down and 3 for Mitty. They have the ball now on the Bellarmine 42-yard line, right hash mark. 8 minutes and 42 seconds marching away here in the opening quarter. Full house here at Archbishop Mitty High School. Bellarmine showing pressure now, both linebackers moving in and out. This will be a handoff towards the left side. And that is Moscow, the ball carrier, going towards the right side off of his tackle between Franklin and Iglesia. Gets close to 2 yards on the ground, so it's going to bring up 3rd down and 1.
You told us to keep our eye on Kenneth Oligabodi, the 6'1", 205-pound senior. He was in on that tackle.
The kid is an absolute beast, folks. He moves around everywhere, and he's one of the bigger athletes on the field, too. He's definitely one of those key defenders, the personnel that everyone will look to on that Bellarmine defense. 3rd down and 1. Hansen checks the play down, looks to his right, now glances over towards his left side, checks with the coaching staff, now goes under center. 4 total wide receivers. He looks right, fires down the sideline. Incomplete pass. Kirsten, he had a wide out open. That was Kyle Evans who let the ball go through both hands.
Wondered if he was going to go to Wesson once again. Evans did a great job on the route. You just got to bring that ball in.
Yeah, Evans was lined up as the inside receiver. He had the ball in his hands. Perhaps he heard the thunder coming in on him as the safety was closing in. But that's an incomplete pass. It's going to bring up 4th down and 1. And the Monarch special teams unit is now out on the field. And we see punter Mark McAndrews lining up at his own 45-yard line. Back deep to return the ball for Bellarmine. We're going to get a chance to see the exciting Joey Sanfilippo as he stands between the hashes. A beautiful punt in the corner. It will bounce at the 1 and go into the end zone for a touchback. So the Monarchs punting on their opening series, but we get a chance to see that rushing and passing attack early on.
Well, and I just want to mention the special teams here. Mitty not only has 2 kickers, they also have 2 punters, and one of them is Moscow. He's been averaging 38.6 punts. And we will also see McAndrews, who's averaging a little better at 42.25. I think they go to Moscow for situations exactly like they just had.
Bells on offense now, going right to left on your screen, wearing the all-white uniforms, navy helmets, blue lettering. Man in motion, that's Evans. He gets the pitch towards the far side, slips one tackler, but he goes down. He cannot get behind the defender. That was Kyle Evans delivering the hit, and the ball carrier was actually Joey Sanfilippo.
Bellarmine runs this double wing offense, and a lot of schools run, a lot of high school football teams run this double wing offense. And to speak to how good Bellarmine was last year, they made it so entertaining. A lot of critics don't like this offense, say it's boring or tedious, not when the Bells run it.
They can move that ball on the ground, there's no doubt about it. This is a handoff that goes straight ahead. This is the number 32, folks. He takes the dives. He does all the dirty work up the middle, but he picks up about 11 yards right there on the ground. It's going to bring up 1st down for Bellarmine.
You got to like Helmers. He's the nose guard on defense and then comes through very close to a 1st down. In fact, I'm wondering about the spot. I thought he might have had that.
No score here in the first quarter, 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Bellarmine with the football. They were actually a yard shy. Helmers gets the call again and bowls forward as the Monarchs defense tries to pile ahead. But instead, Bellarmine gains at least 4 yards and they'll move the chains.
Helmer's 5'11", 190 pound. The senior fullback. He's a great one to have in the arsenal when you're running this double wing offense.
Quarterback for the Bells, Casey Carta Samuels, orchestrates this bunched up style offense with usually 2 to 3 backs lined up. The tight ends are the big receivers that you can see being utilized here for Bellarmine. This is a toss that goes back towards the inside. Joey Sanfilippo, once again, he's one of those names we'll be calling tonight quite a bit. He usually averages between 10 to 15 carries.
Carter Samuels, he is the younger brother of Austin Carter Samuels, who played here, played the quarterback, or played at Bellarmine in 2007, 2008. Now the kid brother, his full name is Kyle. They call him KJ.
KJ under center. Play action, rolls out towards the far side. Plenty of time. Throws deep down the far sideline, hits his man. It goes through the hands. It goes through the hands of his wide receiver, Sanfilippo. He could not bring it in. He was behind both safeties on the play. A picture-perfect throw right there by KC, but unfortunately it goes through the hands for an incomplete pass.
Sanfilippo last week, 116 yards rushing, 60 yards receiving, 2 touchdown scores, one for 36 yards, another for 11. That would have been 6 for the Bells.
Sanfilippo, it doesn't get much easier than that right there. He went all the way across the field and was inside the 10-yard line. It would have been 6 points for Bellarmine. Instead, it's an incomplete pass. Whistles blow down on the field, and we're going to have a timeout called here in the first quarter. That is a Mitty timeout. They have 2 remaining. Bellarmine with all 3 timeouts left in this first half. 5 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the first quarter. No score here at Archbishop Mitty High School.
Would you like to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. This program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
We're in the first quarter, folks, broadcasting to you live from Archbishop Mitty High School. The Bellarmine Bells taking on the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs, a Western Catholic Athletic League matchup here in San Jose, California. Packed house here in San Jose. The lights are on. Talked about it earlier on in the pregame show. Kirsten and I discussed that this is the one home game that Mitty gets a chance to host at their high school. They bring in the lights, a beautiful atmosphere here this evening for this big WCAL matchup. Following the timeout, Bellarmine with the football. It's going to be 3rd down and 6. Sanfilippo in motion from far to near side. KC throws it deep, one-on-one coverage, underthrown. We have a Bell wide receiver, that's Vollner, signaling for a flag. No flag thrown. It's going to be 4th down.
Little bit of a discontent expressed by the Mitty fans. It looked like a little bit of bumping, but otherwise good coverage.
Carta Samuels chucking that one deep down the field. We saw it on the opposite side a few moments ago and now throwing it along the near side. But now Bellarmine will line up to punt the ball away. Grant Bush lining up to punt for Bellarmine. He stands at his own 24-yard line. Dakari Monroe back deep to return. Bush gets it away, a beautiful spiraling punt. Monroe has to backpedal, takes a Bellarmine bounce and goes out of bounds inside the 5. You can't do it any better than that.
Sean, I think when coaches kind of draw up the kind of dream teams, the dream squads they want for a season, I'm not sure how much attention is given to the punter, but we will see some fantastic punting tonight, and I feel that that is something to be noted when watching a high school football game.
Kirsten, a net punt, give or take around 60 yards right there on that play. Wow. Downright impressive. So both teams punt on their opening series of the football game. Monarchs back out on the field, but they're going to have some work to do in their own corner of the end zone. They're on their own 3-yard line. Man in motion, takes the handoff inside. A huge hole to work with. Taking the handoff on the inside was Daniel Mosco. He had some nice room to work right off the center. Daniel Mendoza picks up about 8 yards on the ground.
Moscow, what a clutch run. So deep in their own territory, and to be able to find the hole, great blocking up front and a first down. Mitty's been racking up the first down, so they still had to punt on that first possession.
A huge gain right there. Takes the ball out to the 14-yard line. 4 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter. No score between Bellarmine and Mitty. Both teams 3-1 on the year. Mitty 0-1 in league play, Bellarmine 1-0. Handoff goes towards the far side of the field. Ball carrier picks up about 1 yard on the ground. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 9. Actually, check that, count that for a gain of 3.
Monroe, the return man, who didn't get a chance to return. We see him with a carry. Again, Mitty, the balanced offense. Plenty of Mitty fans in attendance. Alumni barbecue before the game, Sean. Boy, that was smelling pretty good.
That you could see the fumes along the near sideline. I'm not only could I see it, I could smell it. Drooling up here in the press box.
We gotta work an invite next year.
And whenever these two teams face off, folks, they get a great showing from their alumni. 2nd down. Handoff goes inside. And that is Mosco trying to dive through the offensive line right there. The Bells defensive front doing a nice job holding that one to a short gain. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 4.
Mosco with a hurdle. Up and over.
An impressive player.
He's running the steeplechase. Mitty's been methodical. Another 3rd and short situation. Twice they went to Wisson. The other went to Evans. 3 pass plays. They're 2 for 3. What will they do here?
Scott, the wide receiver, at the bottom of your screen as Hansen throws incomplete. He was looking for the back going towards the near sideline. Kyle Evans, the ball was overthrown. He had the outside receiver I mentioned, Andrew Scott, running that seam route, but it's incomplete. It's going to bring up 4th down. A boxing match early on here in the first quarter, back and forth action, but now Mitty will line up to punt the ball away for the 2nd time.
But this time with the new punter, McAndrews is in, and as I had mentioned earlier, we saw Mosco the first time here as McAndrews.
McAndrews standing at his own 7-yard line. Takes the snap. A low kick. He did not get all of that one as it bounces at the 42. It takes a Bell's bounce, and Mitty will down this ball around the 42-yard line. McAndrews did not get all of his foot into that one, and Kirsten Bellarmine's going to have some phenomenal field position here to start their 2nd offensive series.
What a shame for McAndrews, perhaps the biggest night of his season here in front of the Mitty crowd. Again, he was averaging more than 42 yards per punt.
3 minutes and 7 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. No score between Mitty and Bellarmine. Right now, the Bells with the football. Carta Samuels directly under center, 2 backs behind him, 2 wide receivers over towards the right side. Twins formation. Carta Samuels drops back, setting up for the screen. Here it comes. Pass is caught. Ball carrier takes it towards the far side, and he gets tattooed. Nowhere to go as Kyle Evans, I beg your pardon, comes up from the defensive secondary and stops that play for no gain.
Evans knocking him to the heavens.
A great play right there by Evans, flying up from that defensive secondary. He came up at least 10 yards to stop that play.
Well, and you have to give credit to the guys up front, pressuring Carter Samuels, having to dump it off well before the line of scrimmage.
2 yards were gained on that pass play. 2nd down and 8 for Bellarmine. They have it on the Monarch 40. Carter Samuels fires. Near side pass is dropped. So another incomplete pass. That's Vollner. Jared Vollner with that quick hitch route. Hits him right in the chest. He cannot bring it in. 3rd down and 8.
And Spencer Erdman, the senior cornerback, in on the coverage. I think Vollner heard Erdman's heavy feet a-coming.
3rd down and 8 for Bellarmine. Monarch fans getting into it here, hoping their defense can put up a stop. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left in the first quarter. KJ under center. Back goes in motion. He drops back 5 steps. Under pressure, and he's down. He goes down. Coming up with the sack was Sutton. Jason Sutton breaking through, grabbing KC from his back and throwing him down. KJ, I beg your pardon.
Mitty runs a defense in which they show a lot of fronts. They show a lot of blitzing schemes, the 4-3, and that was huge by Sutton.
So on comes the punt team for Bellarmine. Lining up to punt this one away, standing at his own 42-yard line. That's Bush. And he'll give this one a strong boot, aims for the far corner. Bush will line up, or I beg your pardon, Evans, to return this one, and he falls forward around the 15-yard line.
So although Bellarmine had such great field position off of the whiffed punt, if you will, good stand by the Mitty defense.
Mitty's defense holding strong. Both teams now punting twice in this opening quarter. No score between Bellarmine and Mitty. Mitty's offense back out on the field. 1 minute and 24 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Hansen orchestrating the huddle for Mitty, the quarterback. Heading up to the line of scrimmage from his own 15-yard line. Hands it off. This is Evans. Evans tippy-toeing through the middle, gets stood up, and will go down close to the 20-yard line. Kyle Evans taking the handoff, going left to right there, working his way back towards the middle. He's a carrier, or I should say a ball carrier, folks, that when he runs downfield, he really kind of keeps his body upright. He's a sprinter, reminds me of a track sprinter. Doesn't really get too low when he makes his cuts, but the kid can fly. He's an absolute speedster. He really pumps his arms and goes. 2nd down and 6. Evans is the slot receiver. Now he goes out. Pass is thrown towards the near sideline, sliding catch, and that one is caught. Jordan Gojanola with the reception, and that's a 1st down.
Goanola with his first catch. We've seen Wesson as the only Mitty receiver that's been able to bring one in. Evans has yet on a couple of 10s. So Jordan Goanola, the 6-foot, 170-pound senior, a nice option for Hansen.
Goanola ran a beautiful route right there, slid to catch the football, came up with it, complete. 1st and 10 for Mitty. 25 seconds left in the first quarter. Wyatt Hansen now walks over towards his receivers, checks down the play, goes back under center. Option play towards the near side, but the flag is thrown, and this could go against Mitty with just 16 seconds left to play in the first.
Well, and you see Bellarmine was blitzing on that play.
And they were showing that pressure along the inside. They were showing outside pressure and inside pressure right there. They have 3 down linemen, so they bring an inside backer, they bring an outside backer on the top side. And right there, one of the Monarch offensive linemen jumped a little bit, so it brings up 1st and 15. The clock will roll, and we may actually not get a playoff here. We might just go directly to the second quarter. And that's exactly what we'll do. So we're going to switch sides. Monarchs with the football. It'll be 1st and 15 for Mitty. They will now be going right to left. They're going to have the ball on their own 24-yard line. No score after 1 between Bellarmine and Mitty. You're tuning in to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us on PlayOnSports.com on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Kirsten Fairchilds to my left. I'm Sean Hennessy. We're broadcasting to you live from Mitty High School in San Jose, California. It's the Bells and the Monarchs going to you live here on PlayOnSports.com. A beautiful Friday evening here in San Jose, California. Temperature around 67 degrees at kickoff as we get ready to start the second quarter at Archbishop Mitty High School. Monarchs with the football. It'll be 1st and 15 following the false start penalty. We switch sides. Mitty will now go right to left on your screen, wearing the black uniforms, gold helmets, gold lettering. They currently have the football on their own 24-yard line. Right hash mark. Bellarmine lines up with those 3 down linemen on defense. Inside backers showing blitz. 1st and 15. Hansen drops back. 5 steps. Nice pocket. Flings it, and the pass is incomplete. He had a wideout running that drag. That was Brett Foley coming from the top side. Couldn't bring the ball in as he reached his left arm back to tip it inward, but he could not come up with the reception.
Foley, the 6'2", 200-pound sophomore, also is the backup quarterback for this Mitty team, and we had a chance to see he and Hansen conversing before the game. So many great, such great energy from these players before the game. A lot of nerves tonight.
Hansen coming into this game with 472 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 INTs on the year. He drops back here a 2nd straight time, fires, hits Foley this time. Foley at the 40 and tackled around the 44-yard line. Foley making sure he grabbed that one. Alex Rollins with the tackle, but that's a gain through the air. Good enough for a Mitty 1st down.
You have to credit Wyatt Hansen for staying in the pocket, stepping up and throwing that ball. The ends coming around for Bellarmine with the pressure. Hansen didn't blink and delivers to his backup QB.
1st and 10 for Mitty. Beautiful completion on the play as Brett Foley takes it down the near side. The ball will be placed on the left hash mark. Mitty going right to left. 11 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in the 2nd quarter. Hansen, option play, flicks it towards the far side. Evans tries to juke 3 tacklers, but he is gang tackled around the 43. Bellarmine sniffed it out. They saw the option, Kirsten. They overloaded the top side and stopped that play for no gain.
You said it. Bellarmine sniffed it out. They stayed home. I'm really impressed with the Bellarmine guys up front and also the amount of times we've seen a blitz from the Bells.
Dominic Luca, the defensive end on the top side of your screen, was the culprit right there who really slowed that play down. Kudos to the big defensive lineman. 2nd down and 10. Mitty will line up with 3 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. Hansen with 1 back behind him, goes directly under center. Slings it near side, and that one's caught. Monroe takes it past the 45-yard line. Count that for a gain of 14 yards on the reception for Dakari Monroe.
Despite the pressure on Hansen, he's really shown some good composure thus far. Got rid of the ball quickly. Perfect route. 1st down, Mitty.
Beautiful completion right there, and it seems like Wyatt Hansen is clicking on this offensive series with his wide receivers, hitting Brett Foley and Dakari Monroe. 1st and 10 as they cross over into Bellarmine territory, going right to left, ball in between the hashes on the Bells 43. This is Evans going far side. Nothing, absolutely nothing. He cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he'll lose a yard. One of the first men in on the tackle was Sanfilippo, gets credit.
Bellarmine's done a good job on the run. They've really, with the exception of perhaps on the opening drive, they haven't led a big run. However, it's been the arm of Hansen that has driven them downfield.
It's interesting to note, too, that Monroe is one of Hansen's favorite targets. 143 yards receiving on the air for Monroe, but he's still looking for that first receiving touchdown. Wesson has 1 through the air. Hansen fires near sideline, has a man overthrown. It was one-on-one coverage down the near sideline. Sawyer was the defender. Going out deep was Gohinola. Incomplete pass. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 11.
Testing that secondary. However, Hansen, when he has erred, he has been overthrowing his receivers.
Just a hair. Gohinola had him right there down that near side, stretching out that left arm. Couldn't bring it in. 3rd down here for Mitty. Tommy Hudson checks back towards the sideline. 4 wide receivers lined up for Mitty. 2 to each side, ball on the right hash mark. Evans in motion from left to right. This will be a delayed handoff that goes middle, but sniffed out. Olugbodi comes up and makes the tackle from behind. The ball will be well short of the 1st down, pinned at the 39-yard line. 4th down here for Mitty.
Mitty, I think that's the first time they've tried a run play on 3rd and long. And I think McMaster's going to have another shot here at the punt. McAndrews.
McAndrews comes out. It's 4th down. He stands at his own 47 in between the hashes. Back deep is San Filippo at his own 7. Clock is rolling. 8 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the second quarter. No score here at Mitty High School. McAndrews boots at another short punt, spiraling but goes out of bounds around the 25-yard line. We've seen this kid boot it pretty darn good, but so far Mark McAndrews with 2 back-to-back punts that did not go in his favor.
I think that has to be a bit of a disappointment, that possession for Mitty. They were able to throw the ball well despite being under pressure. Hansen delivered, and to come up with nothing on that series didn't seem that was the way it would be going.
Bellarmine's offense now on the field, going left to right. They have it on their own 17-yard line. Carta Samuels lines up in that bunch style. Call it a wing tee if you want. This will be a pitch towards the far side. Nowhere to go. Mitty sniffed it out, and that was a defensive lineman coming up making the tackle right there. Looked like Jason Sutton, one of the first players in on the tackle.
Kyle Carter Samuels, a junior. He's already given a verbal commitment to Vanderbilt. Really impressed over the summer at the camps, and he just follows in some huge shoes. Travis McHugh, the Mercury News Player of the Year, now at Princeton. Wow, what a daunting task.
Carta Samuels will test the waters in the SEC. You gotta love that from a Bay Area kid. 2nd down and 9. Handoff goes towards the near side, nearly bobbled. Defensive back comes up and stops the play short. A phenomenal play by the defender coming up and delivering the hit in the backfield. Give credit on the play to Brian Bither, number 81. I beg your pardon. It was Bither. Bither came up from the cornerback position and stopped that play for a 1-yard loss. It's now 3rd down and 11.
San Filippo couldn't turn the corner. A lot of east to west running. You know, we talked about these two teams able to score a lot of points. I'm actually not surprised that we're seeing a defensive battle here tonight.
Defensive performance by both squads here early. I joked with Kirsten before the broadcast. I said, this has a 28-31 feel. Well, right now, we've got no score here at Mitty High School. 7 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Whistles blow, and the flag is thrown. That one by our back judge, Anthony Ortega. Penalty will go against the Bells. Our referee tonight, Randy Fry. Delay a game is the call down on the field. 5-yard penalty for Bellarmine. The ball will be placed at the 11-yard line. So now it's going to bring up 3rd down and 16. 2 wide receivers over towards the left side for the Bells. 1 to the right. Carta Samuels checks down the left side. Man in motion. Drops back. Now he has pressure. Rolls out near side. Tries to juke a player, but is tackled at the 10-yard line. Carta Samuels could not get by the defender. Making the hit on the play was Mendoza. Mendoza came in and drilled him. It's 4th down.
That was an anemic offensive series by Bellarmine. And you have to credit the Mitty defense.
Monroe and Evans back deep for Mitty. They stand at their own 39-yard line.
That's quite a wide berth since Bush is punting from his own end zone. I think it just speaks to his abilities.
At least a yard in his own end zone. High snap, but Bush brings it down, and look at this kick. My goodness, all the way down to the 37. This is Monroe. Puts on a move. Gets past the defender at the 40 and falls down around the 37. Flag comes in late, but how about Dakari Monroe showing the skills down the field?
Bush, what an effort for the punt, as you mentioned. We'll have to see what this flag.
From the end zone, that punt went over 60 yards. We have an illegal block committed against Mitty. That one's huge because they would have had that ball around Bellarmine's 40-yard line, Kirsten. Now they're going to push this one all the way back into Mitty territory. A huge penalty on the special teams play.
You know, McAndrews, for all his struggles for the Mitty punt, he's not allowed Bellarmine a chance at a return. And we've just seen the return games just negated here tonight because the punting has been so effective in one way or another.
The ball will actually be marked down around the Bellarmine 49, so not as bad as originally thought here for Mitty. Hansen setting up to pass, slings it near side, dangerous throw, but it's caught by Monroe. He's tackled around the 50-yard line. I say a dangerous throw because Sawyer was closing in, Kirsten. It looked like he had a chance to pick that ball off. It was thrown so high.
Jaden Sawyer, the 6'1" senior, 170-pounder. You know, the receiver looked like he was calling for the ball, so Sawyer really had a chance, it seemed.
No gain on the reception. 2nd down and 10 for Mitty. 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the second quarter. No score between Bellarmine and Mitty. Monarchs with the football on their left hash mark, going right to left on your screen. Wyatt under center, slings it far side, pass is caught, and that's Foley, the big target, who falls forward around the 44-yard line of Bellarmine. Count it for 6 yards through the air. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 4.
I like that play call. That's the second time we've seen that play call. And Foley, nice size, good size. He gives Hansen a good target.
Foley at 6'2", 200 pounds. Just a sophomore, so we can expect a lot through the years from that young man. 4 minutes and 47 seconds left to play in the second quarter. 3rd down and 5. 3 wide receivers to the left for Hansen. He looks towards the right, one-on-one, hits his target, who breaks away and is tackled around the 21-yard line. Jacob Wesson with the biggest reception so far of the game as he takes it down around the 20-yard line. It'll be first and 10 here for Mitty as they cross over deep into Bellarmine territory.
That's the first pass thrown Wesson's way since early in the first quarter. He is the playmaker, the receiver with the sure hands. That's 3 for 3 for Wesson.
Looking solid in this second quarter. Couple of quick substitutions as the offense gets ready to play. They have it on the Bellarmine 21-yard line. 4 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the first half. Handoff goes towards the right side, and that is Moscow. Moscow stood up by 3 Bellarmine defenders as he's tackled back around the line of scrimmage. San Filippo, one of the first players coming in on the tackle.
You know, Sean, so much is made of Bellarmine's just sparkling year last year, 12-2 overall, 7-0 to win the West Catholic Athletic League. Mitty finished 3rd.
Surprising, considering the football teams they've been able to put together year in and year out. We talked about it in the pregame show. Sarah looks like one of those schools that just might be the team to beat this year in the WCAL. 2nd down and 7, 3 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the second quarter. That ball pops loose, or perhaps it was given to the fullback on the play. It was taken rather quickly. That was Robert O'Leary, the fullback, taking the dive, but Bellarmine had nothing to do with it. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 8.
Bellarmine, as I said earlier, they've done a really good job defending against the run.
O'Leary, I beg your pardon, his first carry in the ball game. And that one actually goes for negative yardage as it's now 3rd and about 9. Mitty trying to figure out who they want on the field. 2 minutes and 55 seconds left now as that clock continues to work here in the second quarter. First half moving quickly, folks. Here at Mitty High School, 2 wide receivers to the left side for quarterback Wyatt Hansen. Play action. He looks left, throws it towards the corner. Double coverage, intercepted. Pass is picked off along the near pylon. Austin Changros coming up with the interception. There is a flag on the play.
Mitty's wanted PI called on some previous plays. They may just get it here.
Double coverage along the near sideline. Flag is at the goal line.
That ball was underthrown.
It was. It really was. And now Bellarmine coming together on defense. The officials stand at the 10-yard line, waiting for the official call from our referee, Randy Fry. as he discusses with his officials around the 10-yard line. The clock is stopped with 2 minutes and 36 seconds left to play here in the second quarter, and it is pass interference committed against Bellarmine's defensive secondary. A huge penalty late in the second quarter, and now Mitty will have the football, it appears, at least inside the 10-yard line. Perhaps it's going to be 1st and goal. We'll wait to see where they mark this football.
Mitty burned that one timeout in the first quarter. Bellarmine has all of theirs.
Mitty with the chance to think this play call over. A lot of time from the pass interference call to now where the play will result. The ball is marked down inside the 10-yard line. Counted on the 9.5 if you want to be technical about it. It's going to be placed on the right hash mark. It'll be 1st and goal for Mitty. Following the defensive pass interference. Bellarmine fans across the side clapping their hands, trying to get that defense excited here for a big goal line stand.
And you see Coach Mike Janda asking for an explanation perhaps as to where the ball has been spotted.
Mike Janda in his 29th year over at Bellarmine, well known here in the CCS section. He stands around the 25-yard line, talking with our referee, Randy Fry. Bunch style formation, Hansen hands it off to O'Leary. O'Leary tackled from behind as he falls forward close to the 5-yard line, picks up around 4.5 yards on the ground. It's going to stay 2nd and goal here. 8th play of this offensive series coming up here for Mitty. 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second quarter. Mitty with 2 timeouts, Bellarmine with 3.
Bellarmine's given up 3 touchdowns in 4 games.
That just shows you how tough and rugged this defense is. They're holding strong.
Let me correct that. 2 touchdowns in 3 games.
Nonetheless, pretty impressive as Hansen takes the ball himself on the option, goes into the end zone for a touchdown, splits the backers. Wyatt Hansen with a 6-yard rushing score puts up the first points in the ball game for Mitty.
Wyatt Hansen, the quarterback last year, the cornerback last year, the quarterback this year. 5 touchdowns on the season, perhaps none sweeter than that on homecoming night here on his home field.
Wyatt Hansen from 6 yards out rushes the ball. He decided to keep it, did not give it to his fullback. It was an option play towards the near side, and he punched it off that left hash mark, split the linebackers, and Mitty now lining up for the PAT try. The kick is up and away by Daniel Rice, and it's good. So 7-0 is our score. Mitty strikes first in this football game. It took almost 2 full quarters to do it, but we now have the first touchdown in the books. It's Mitty 7, Bellarmine 0 with 1:35 to play in the second quarter.
Would you like to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying tonight? Well, then tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. Our program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, please visit playonsports.com/SBP.
So the Mitty Monarchs going 49 yards. They started that previous series on the Bellarmine 49-yard line. It took them 8 plays, 49 yards, and it's capped off with a 6-yard rushing touchdown by quarterback Wyatt Hansen as he goes towards the left side of that defense, and Mitty leads this football game 7-0. They controlled the clock right there, Kirsten. They looked very good in that offensive series.
They did. They were helped by the return, even though there was a penalty.
Ensuing kickoff goes towards the far side of the field into the back corner of the end zone. Automatic touchback, and Bellarmine will start around their own 20-yard line.
Bellarmine Bells entered this game as the number 23 ranked team in the state of California by Cal High Sports. They were the only Bay Area-based team to be in the top 25.
Bellarmine 3-1 on the year, 1-0 in WCAL play. Mitty trying to knock off the Bells here and move to 1-1 in league play. Both teams 3-1 coming into this matchup overall. So we have 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining in the second quarter. We'll see if Bellarmine can tie things up before the half comes to a close. Carta Samuels in the shotgun now. 4 wide receivers. Slot man on the left side goes in motion from top to bottom. Pass is incomplete. San Filippo, the intended target, moving from the top side to the bottom. Ball was underthrown right there. It's going to bring up second down.
Yeah, right away Carter Samuels gestured as if to say, my bad. Wanted to get rid of it in a hurry. Just not the pass San Filippo was looking for.
Carta Samuels, junior, 6'2", 210 pounds. Playing quarterback for the Bellarmine Bells. Talking with San Filippo on that play. Great call right there, Kirsten. Tapping his chest saying, hey, my bad. Low throw right there. Second down and 10 following the incomplete pass. Shotgun formation once again. Pass play goes towards the far side, and that one's broken up. It was deflected at the line of scrimmage. The defensive end was Sutton. Jason Sutton having a great defensive first half, batting that ball down. It's now third down and 10.
Well, Bellarmine going to the air. Less than 90 seconds left here in the half.
1:26 to go in the second. Keep in mind, Bellarmine has all 3 timeouts remaining in this first half. So if they complete a big one here, they can stop the clock and regroup. 4 wide receivers bunched up this time. As opposed to the previous play, they were really spread out. Now they're closer towards the offensive line. There's also a back in front of Carta Samuels. He flings it towards the middle. Dangerous pass, broken up. Down the middle of the field, breaking that play up was Jacob Wesson, sneaking along the inside of the wide receiver, putting his left hand in there, batting it down, and it's fourth down.
Great coverage by the Monarch secondary. Nobody was open, and 2 in a row, 2 anemic offensive attempts by Bellarmine. First one on the ground, the second in the air, and I'm sure Bellarmine didn't want to give Mitty the ball back with so much time left on the clock here in the first half.
And how about this, Bellarmine lining up? That was their 4th offensive series of this football game in the first half. They're lining up for their 4th straight punt.
Good thing they've got a punter as good as Bush, right?
Grant Bush brings the golden boot out. Another solid punt. Spiraling will bounce around the Monarch 43, takes a Bell's hop inside the 35-yard line. MVP of the first half for Bellarmine has to be Grant Bush. That kid has an absolute iron foot.
Well, not only that, he's got ice water in his veins, Sean. I mean, how many times has he come close to being blocked, and he just doesn't blink and lets it fly. And you got to credit Mitty. Those players coming in with so much momentum, but there's not been a rep. They don't make contact with him, even though they're so close to blocking the punt.
I mean, Bush puts Chuck Norris-like drop kick force into that football. It is an impressive leg that this young man has. Mitty with the ball, 1:06 remaining in the second quarter. They have it on their own 34-yard line. Hansen fires far side. That's Wesson going out of bounds around the 42. Jacob Wesson with a nice short route came back to the football, and they're going to mark it for a gain of 6.
4 catches for Wesson for 4 balls thrown his way, and he plays with such an efficiency, so much composure, steps out of bounds. He really knows what's required of him, and he delivers.
Monarchs picking on the cornerback, Nick Russo. Top side of your screen, number 20, around the 50-yard line. Playing deep off the football, at least 10 yards. He's lined up on Wesson. Second down and 1. Previous play went for 9 yards. Here comes the outside blitz. Hansen fires, incomplete. Looking for Wesson once again. I mentioned Russo. They were picking on him a little bit, but he stayed home right there in tight coverage. Third down.
If you're a Bellarmine fan, you're waiting for their big guys up front to bring down that elusive Hansen. They've rushed him for sure in this game, but they have not been able to wrap him up.
Third down and 1 for Mitty. They have it on their own 43-yard line, right hash mark. Bellarmine blitzed from the top side on that previous play. We'll see what they do right here. They line up with 3 defensive linemen. Linebackers at least 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. Here they come. Handoff goes middle. And that looks like it's Moscow who takes the handoff right up the middle. I beg your pardon, that's Chandler Ramirez who takes it for a gain of 3.
Ramirez listed at fullback. Boy, that was a huge opening for Ramirez.
Great job by that offensive front. Daniel Mendoza, the center on that offensive line, paving the way. 1st and 10, clock rolls. 46 seconds left in the second quarter. Hansen drops back, fires for the far side. Complete to Wesson once again. Knocked out of bounds by Russo on the top side of your screen, but that will go for at least 7, maybe 8 yards on the reception, and it stops the clock as Wesson goes out of bounds.
Mitty couldn't ask for a better scenario here. Ability to get Wesson open, that quick strike. Hansen doesn't need a lot of time. Now they're in Bellarmine territory.
They line up with 5 wide receivers this time as Wyatt Hansen stands at the 50 from the shotgun. 2nd down. Tries to get past the defender, but he's sacked. He's sacked on the play, taken down by his ankles. Coming up was Joe Castellani, Castellani, I beg your pardon. He gets the sack.
Let me help you out with that.
Nailed
Got it, Castellani.
There
and
she
you
is.
love Castellani, the inside linebacker. Number 7. How often do you see a number 7 who's not coming in from the end sack a quarterback? And as you've mentioned, he has 2 jerseys. He's the one guy that's playing in this ball game that we have to be ready for both jerseys.
He wears number 7 and number 72. How about that? Not too many schools do that. Timeout on the field with 32 seconds to play. 7-0, Mitty leads.
Hey folks, would you like to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here tonight? Well then tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. This program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web for the world to see. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Joe Castellani coming up with the sack on that last play. Timeout on the field. It appeared that Mitty called the timeout on that play. So now they have 1 timeout remaining in this first half. 32 seconds left to play. Hansen directly under center. Sends a man in motion. Delayed handoff to Evans. Evans slips away, gets past the 1st down, spin moves, and is drilled at the 39-yard line. It looked like he was going to get stopped for maybe 5 yards. Instead, he spins and moves and picks up the 1st down. Whistles blow now as the clock continued to roll. It will be a 1st down for Mitty.
Great play call and great performance by Hansen. He sold that so well. And, you know, no one keeps a scoreboard operator more honest than the home team's parents. And I'm not sure if that came across our microphones, but the clock was not stopped. But let me tell you, time will be put back on.
Folks, doesn't matter which high school you're at. If you've got fans that are into it, they'll let you know. And we'll see now there is 22 seconds put back on the game clock. It was stopped at 18, so they've added 4 seconds on the clock. Mitty with 1 timeout left to go. Now the clock will roll from our referee, Randy Fry, as he signals. Hansen just spikes the football. Takes off 2 seconds. There's 20 seconds left to play now.
Well, we mentioned Mitty has 2 punters. They have 2 kickers as well. One can hit from 35 yards out. That's Daniel Rice. Phil Langelis can hit from 45 yards out. Obviously, one's got the strength, one's got the accuracy.
Saw Phil Langelis kicking that football pregame from his own 40. He was coming up just a hair short. The ball's on the 39-yard line right now. It would be a 56-yarder from this range. Flag thrown. This might be a delay of game call. And it is a 5-yard penalty for Mitty. Huge right here with under 20 to go.
Yes, absolutely. Here we're talking about the field goal range. And this,
it went from 56 to 61. So now the ball is marked down at the 43-yard line of Bellarmine. Mitty going right to left. It's 2nd down and 15 following the penalty. The clock is stopped with 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Monarchs lead the Bells 7-0. Only touchdown in the ball game came on the legs of quarterback Wyatt Hansen. He lines up in the shotgun, rolls out near side. 4 wide receivers go out. He flings it incomplete. He was looking for the drag route down the near side of the field. That was Jordan Goinola, incomplete.
Goinola looked like he might have stumbled a bit, and that's why that pass seems so errant from Hansen. And Mitty kind of a little bit here shooting themselves in the foot a bit, Sean. Looked like they had a chance to really threaten, and now they only have 15 seconds to work with.
Kudos to Jaden Sawyer on the coverage right there. 15 seconds left. 3rd down and 15. 2 wide receivers to each side. Hansen looks far side. Pass complete to Wesson, slips away at the 30, lowers his shoulder and goes out of bounds around the 27. He goes out of bounds, slips a tackle, lowers his shoulder, and gets 2 yards past the 1st down marker.
5th catch for Wesson, and that's what I like about this Mitty receiving corps. They know where they are in the field. They know where the 1st down marker is. They fight for that extra yardage. They get out of bounds. They do everything that is asked of them.
8 seconds to go here in the 2nd quarter. Wesson goes out of bounds, so that stops the clock. Mitty has 1 timeout remaining. Ball is at the 27, no, the 28. 45-yard field goal from this range. Hansen over towards the far side, hits his wide receiver who goes out of bounds. Goinola with the reception, count it for about 7, and that now stops the clock with 4 seconds.
Boy, I tell you, good thing Goinola has such good reflexes, because that he barely had turned around in time, and that ball was delivered.
Goinola, nice catch as he goes out of bounds. They're going to mark the ball down around the 22-yard line. 39-yard field goal try for kicker Phil Langelis. He's a lefty. Ball in the right hash mark to take a 10-0 lead. It's away through the middle. Oh, wow. It goes just right. He hooks it. It goes just right. The clock strikes 0. And Mitty cannot add any more points on the board as this 1st half comes to a close.
I tell you, Bellarmine goes into the locker room with the win right there, Sean.
Missed field goal. Langelis, the lefty, came on and he just hooked it.
Plenty of leg.
Plenty of leg. He would have had it, but it went just right. So that's going to do it for the 1st half, folks. A quick 1st half, exciting 1st half here between Bellarmine and Mitty. The Monarchs lead the Bells by a score of 7-0. When we come back, we'll have the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's the Bellarmine Bells 0, Archbishop Mitty Monarch 7 here on PlayOnSports.com. We've reached halftime here, folks, at Archbishop Mitty High School. The Bells nothing, the Monarchs 7. A lightning-quick first half here at Archbishop Mitty High School in San Jose, California. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Kirsten Fairchilds to my left. I'm Sean Hennessy. 7-0 is our score. Normally, we give you the breakdown to all the different scoring touchdowns and plays that happen in the first half. A defensive performance by both squads put on in that first half by the Bells and the Monarchs. But we did have one touchdown to inform you about. It came on the legs of Wyatt Hansen, a 6-yard rushing score from the Monarchs quarterback, and that's where we stand. PAT good. It's 7-0 in favor of Mitty. Kirsten, the big story has to be the defensive performance by both teams, standing strong. But you got to also talk about Grant Bush, the punter for Bellarmine. There's been some moments in that first half where Bellarmine could have been pinned easily in their own territory, but this kid put together back-to-back 60-yard punts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's certainly something to be commended at the high school level, but when the best thing about a team's performance has been their punter, it really speaks to the offensive woes, and Sean, the Bells, with just 17 yards of total offense in the first half.
Wow, and you've got to give kudos to the Monarchs defense. Jason Sutton coming up with a tremendous first half. He had a sack in that first half, deflected a ball at the line of scrimmage. Really the key go-to player for the Monarchs defense in that first half.
Well, and then conversely, we've called this a defensive battle, but Mitty has been able to do things well, and they've been able to throw the ball well. Hansen, the quarterback, has 137 yards of offense in the air, and then Wesson, 6 catches for 77 yards. When you have a workhorse like that as a receiver, he's been such a good threat. He's been able to get himself open. Bellarmine needs to do a better job on coverage of Wesson in the second half.
Wesson came into this matchup with 6 catches for 134 yards on the season, so he's having a great start to this football game. He could easily double or triple that number by the time the night is through. You're tuning into the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. 7-0 is our score between Archbishop Mitty and Bellarmine. This is a WCAL matchup here in San Jose, California. Last year, Mitty fell to Bellarmine not once but twice, once during the regular season, and then they lost in the CCS playoffs in the second round, 29-0. So, Kirsten, they're looking to get some revenge here tonight, and so far that defense is they're leading the way in this regular season matchup.
Right, and they've got that balanced offense, and really, Mitty, you know, this is a rivalry. Mitty started, the school was established in 1964, and we were kind of joking beforehand. It seems like they have been around for so much longer. They really have established, you know, such a fine reputation in so many sports. Boys basketball, women's volleyball leaps to mind. Bellarmine, well, one of the oldest schools in California, Sean. It was founded in 1851, so the legacy with Bellarmine really stretches on. Hey, I've got another WCAL score, and this is a barn burner. In the middle of the second quarter, Sarah led Reardon 42-0. And outside the WCAL, Cupertino playing a rare Friday afternoon game, beating Los Altos at Los Altos 34-0. So we've seen some lopsided scores today. Although Mitty only leads the 7-0, I would have to give Mitty the nod in the first half for sure.
Sarah on their way to moving to 5-0 on the season, 2-0 in league play. They are definitely looking like the team to beat. We talk about Bellarmine. It's hard not to mention head coach Mike Janda in his 29th year as the varsity head football coach for the Bells. Everyone here in the Bay Area, they recognize Bellarmine. They know about the school, the athletics program, and what they put out each and every year. Head varsity football coach Mike Janda is a big part of that and what he brings to the table.
You know, you think you know Mike Janda so well. He's been so associated with Bellarmine. I didn't even realize he was from Texas. You don't hear the accent. He's a graduate of Strake Jesuit High School in Houston, and he actually went on to play college ball for 2 years at Longhorn. Says he teaches chemistry and honors chemistry at Bellarmine, and he said when he's in class and he wants to make a point, he pulls out the accent a little.
Hook 'em horns accent, that's right. Coach Janda of Bellarmine, one of the best folks in the business. 7-0 is our score. It's the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Monarchs on top of the Bells as we get ready to wrap things up and start the second half. Kirsten, your thoughts on the way that first half kind of went down, and what do you expect to see here in the second half when these two teams come out?
You know, Bellarmine's offense started off so much better in the first quarter. I mean, they were just denied in the second quarter. I mean, I called it anemic on 2 attempts. One, they relied on the ground game. Nothing was doing. The Mitty defense stuffed that. Then they came back, tried to get it done in the air. Couldn't do that. They've got some problem solving to do here at the break, and Mitty just growing in confidence. Wyatt Hansen, so much composure, and you could just tell his confidence. But I think, you know, Bellarmine takes away. Mitty missed the field goal. Bellarmine got in on a sack on that. They finally got to Hansen, and, you know, it seems as if their defense is really done better than the offense in the first half, but Bellarmine's got to be able to score some points here in the second.
Bell's offense stymied in that first half, to say the least. That's going to do it for the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. When we come back, we'll kickstart the third quarter here at Archbishop Mitty High School. The Monarchs lead the Bells 7-0 here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Welcome back to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. First half in the books between the Bellarmine Bells and the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs. 7-0 is our score. Monarchs on top here at Archbishop Mitty High School in San Jose, California. Getting ready to start the third quarter. Bellarmine kicked it off to start the first half, so Mitty will kick off to start the second half. They lead by a touchdown, a defensive battle in that first half. We'll see if anything changes between these two WCAL teams. Kickoff taken around the 6-yard line. Up man at the 20. Pinned around the 22, and now the Monarch special teams just wrapping things up as Daniel Brown takes the ball out close to the 23.
Boy, Bellarmine, their return guys, this is on special team, they got a little cold. The punt continued to go out of bounds by Mick Andrews, and fairly decent field position for the Bells here to start off the second.
Kirsten's story the first half was the anemic offense for Bellarmine. 4 offensive series, 4 straight punts. We'll see if they can change things here as we start the third quarter. Bellarmine moving left to right on your screen, wearing the all-white uniforms, blue helmets, blue lettering. This is the quarterback, Carter Samuels, keeping it on the option, lowering his shoulder and piling ahead for a gain of 8 yards on the ground.
That looks like the Bells that we saw in the first quarter. Great play call to start off here in the second half. I believe in that first quarter I actually referred to Bellarmine's offense as methodical. They were methodically moving down the field, and then the second quarter came and things went ice cold.
Second down and 1, gain of 9 yards on the previous play as Bellarmine brings it down to their own 32-yard line. We're underway here in the third quarter, 11 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the third. Handoff goes left side. San Filippo, it appears, as he crosses over the 37, but picks up a first down for the Bells.
We mentioned the Mercury News Player of the Year, Travis McHugh, last year. Well, Bellarmine didn't just rely on McHugh. They also had the running back, Tim Crawley, had 17 touchdowns, 1,446 yards. What a great high school season for the graduated Tim Crawley.
San Filippo at the bottom of your screen. He is the back lined up towards the tight end. This will be a fullback handoff that goes middle for a gain of close to 4 yards on the ground. That's Helmers taking the carry, going right off the center. It'll bring up second down and 6. 10 minutes and 35 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Mitty 7, Bellarmine nothing.
That's Helmer's first carry since the first quarter.
Bunched up offense for Bellarmine. This is the quarterback, Carter Samuels. Delays the handoff, decides to keep it himself. Rolls off that left guard. Picks up about 3 yards on the ground. Now it's going to bring up 3rd and 4 for Bellarmine. They're going to have the ball around their own 46-yard line in between the hashes.
Carter Samuels had 2 two-yard touchdown scores last week in the win over Reardon. In the air, he was 11 of 15 for 136 yards.
Third down for Bellarmine. Offensive line set. San Filippo gets the toss far side, lowers his shoulder, but he's met. He's met immediately by who? Surprise, surprise, Jason Sutton, the leader of that Monarch defense, coming up and making the stop.
You really liking Jason Sutton.
That kid is a stud. That defensive end for the Monarchs flying up, big number 43, putting a lick on the ball carrier right there. And now it's going to bring up 4th down and 3. Special teams unit out on the field for Bellarmine. Kyle Evans will move from his cornerback position and line up as a punt returner, going way back, close to the 10-yard line. He respects the boot.
He's going back to Lawrence Expressway.
That's
what do you mean?
He respects the boot of Grant Bush. Bush, the punter, from his own 35, puts his leg into it. Evans takes it from his own 5, loses the ball, tackled at the 1. Special teams mishap by Evans. Making the tackle was Jaden Sawyer.
Bush again, Sean, with hands close to his face. He's just an escape artist.
Booted that thing from around his own 30. Went inside the 10, over 50 yards yet again. This kid is turning some heads here at Archbishop Mitty High School. The football is marked down at the 1-yard line for Mitty.
Bush, just a junior.
That kid has an absolute iron foot.
He's also listed at running back and cornerback.
Handoff goes middle. Evans, it appears. It is Evans. Jukes one defender. Now he's tackled close to the 3-yard line. So if you're Mitty here, with your back against the walls in your own end zone, and now there's a flag on the play. It came after Evans went down. Clock is stopped with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the third quarter. That's a block below the waist, an illegal block. That's a 15-yard penalty committed against Mitty.
Well, and I was just going to credit the good second effort there on the run. And you see the players huddled around the referee. Bellarmine looking to their sideline to see perhaps they decline this, Sean.
That play went towards the left side of the offensive line. Luke Rasmussen, the left tackle, number 75, lined up on the left side of that offensive line. We're not going to officially call if he was the culprit right there.
See, Bellarmine declined the penalty because they wanted the loss of down.
So they will take the loss of down. Kirsten, you're right on it. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 on the 3-yard line for Mitty. They choose and opt with the loss of down. Hansen lined up under center. Flicks it while in the end zone to his tailback, who gets past the line of scrimmage, stood up around the 7, and finally goes down. A dangerous play right there. The flick towards the far side. It goes for a nice gain, close to 7 yards, but it's going to bring up 3rd down here for Mitty.
Bellarmine had a chance, if they would have accepted the penalty, to back up Mitty a yard or two, and we're surrounded by some Mitty fans who are really questioning that Bellarmine's decision. Yes, it would have given them a 1st down, but it would have given them more yards to cover. Bellarmine needs to come up with a big stop here for the folks on the other side of the sideline to have made a good decision.
Hansen drops back, flings it, pass is caught, but going absolutely nowhere. Defensive play by Nick Russo, the cornerback, coming up and sticking the receiver for no gain. It's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, and Russo, who's been picked on, as you had said earlier in the first half, that has to feel so good.
Redeemed himself right there. On the top side of your screen, number 20, Nick Russo, coming up and making the tackle.
So even though it's 4th and short for the Mitty, obviously they have to punt. McMandrews? I'm going to have to send that young man an apology note.
4th down, Goinola with the reception on the previous play. Here's the punt from the own end zone, a high punt that doesn't go the distance. It bounces at the 42. Sanfilippo does the wise thing and just backs away as it bounces and rolls to the 50-yard line. So close to 50 yards right there on the punt as Bellarmine's offense heads out onto the field.
Bellarmine started off the second half with some positive yardage, however, and some 1st down yardage as well. They need to put a series together, Sean. Your confidence builds. They need to put a series together. They need to get 6 on the scoreboard.
Bells with the football at the 50. Handoff goes middle. This is the fullback, Helmers. Helmers goes left side. This kid's a bruiser. Lowers his shoulder and picks up close to 5 yards on the ground as he crosses over into Mitty territory. They're going to mark it just outside the Mitty 45.
Not sure if it was Helmers that you described as that stand-up runner. He certainly has that look to him, that style to him, and he's a bruiser.
He's got that big old back plate that you see a lot of those fullbacks wear and those middle linebackers. Kid just looks gruesome. Big number 32. 3-point stance right behind Carta Samuels. This is the quarterback. Carta Samuels taking the carry, but coming up and delivering the stick was Michael Jimenez with the tackle for no gain. It's going to bring up 3rd down.
I realize there was no gain on the play, but I like Carter Samuels. I mean, this is a double wing offense. Your quarterback has to be a threat. He wasn't utilized that much in the first half, Sean. It was all Sanfilippo, and now I think Carter Samuels really has to prove to be a threat.
Michael Jimenez, the middle linebacker for Mitty, haven't called his name a whole lot in that first half. Expect to see this kid light it up here in the second. He is a big-time defender for the Monarchs D. He's playing the middle linebacker position right here. Third down. Sanfilippo in motion. Carter Samuels keeps it, dives forward at the 40, and it looks like he may just have enough for the first down. He needed about 4.5, picked up 5. They're going to pin him down on the 40-yard line. Correction, it was Daniel Brown. So it's going to be first down for Bellarmine as Carter Samuels takes it middle. 5 minutes and 3 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Mitty with a touchdown lead, 7-0. This game moving along rather quickly. First and 10. Carter Samuels option, keeps it. Ping-pongs off one defender. Rolls forward and will be tackled around the 37 for a gain of 4. Carter Samuels, the quarterback for Bellarmine, recognizes the defensive ends crashing down, and he decides to either flick the ball away, as many quarterbacks do in the option-style offense, and right there he showed why he wanted to keep it, because he saw the defensive end, Jason Sutton, crashing inwards, and he went just towards the inside of him to pick up a gain of 4. Second down. Bellarmine in Mitty territory here. Going left to right, ball in between the hashes. A very late handoff as Helmers takes it, scoots middle, and picks up close to 7. A dangerous handoff right there. Carter Samuels at the last second put that ball in the old breadbasket of Matt Helmers, who takes it for a first down.
Well, now the Bellarmine double wing offense is starting to click, and the ball carriers have been the big guys. Not only Helmers, Kyle Carter Samuels, KJ, stands 6'3", 209 pounds. That's a lot of a bell coming at you.
That's a big kid. Can easily see over that defensive line. Has beautiful vision downfield when he can locate his wide receivers. First and 10, Bellarmine on the Mitty 29 now. Sanfilippo tied up in the backfield.
You know, Bellarmine has found success running the ball inside. Sanfilippo, who has plenty of speed, ability, talent, has not been able to turn the corner since early in the first quarter.
Safety Jared Vollner coming up and delivering the hit for a 2-yard loss. It's now second down and 12. 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 5 defensive linemen lined up for Mitty. Pass play, Carter Samuels nearly trips. Rolls out near side, finally delivers, pass is caught. Sanfilippo spins away, tackled inside the 10-yard line. Biggest play of the night for Bellarmine.
That may be the jump start this offense needs. You know, when we've seen Bellarmine go to the air, they've only gone to the air late in the second quarter, late in the first half. Now they're able to mix it up, and Sanfilippo, what a great spin move.
Oh my goodness. For a moment it looked like he was going to get tied up around the 15, 20-yard line. Spins away and works it downfield. It's now first and goal for Bellarmine, a chance to tie this football game. First and goal from the Mitty 6. Brown in motion. Helmers takes the handoff straight ahead. He's tied up. The nose tackle was able to penetrate the line of scrimmage and stop that play from going further. And it looked like that was Robert O'Leary coming up and stopping that play. He's the nose tackle down there, big number 44.
Going back to that previous play, what about Carter Samuels? Flushed from the pocket, still the presence of mind to look downfield. I thought he might put it on his hip and run. He looked like he was tempted. Great vision by the junior quarterback.
And he nearly tripped coming out from the snap under center, but he was able to maintain his composure. 2 minutes remaining in this third quarter as that clock continues to march. Second and goal from the Mitty 5. Bellarmine with the football. Carter Samuels sends a man in motion. Whistles blow. A flag was thrown by the back judge, but Bellarmine gets the timeout call before the flag was thrown. So Bellarmine uses their first timeout of the second half. They have 2 remaining. Mitty with all 3 timeouts remaining here in this second half.
You know, it looked like Daniel Brown was actually trying to get off the field. I just think there was some miscommunication with Bellarmine on that play.
And Brown has been that motion man all night for Bellarmine.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Kirsten Fairchilds to my left. I'm Sean Hennessy bringing you the live play-by-play action here at Archbishop Mitty High School in San Jose, California. Right now, Mitty leads Bellarmine 7-0, but Bellarmine with the football threatening here as they have it inside the Mitty 10-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and goal from the 5. Best drive of the night so far for Bellarmine, Kirsten. KJ Carter-Samuels kept this play alive. He was able to hit San Filippo, who spun away, brought it inside the 10, and now they have a chance to tie this football game up late in the third quarter.
Well, not only that, they were able to run the ball inside by Carter-Samuels and Helmers, and that was huge. I mean, that was the methodical part of getting this far into the territory.
In between the hashes, Carter-Samuels sends his man in motion. That's Brown. Carter-Samuels takes it over towards the right side. He goes off the right guard, in between the right tackle, falls forward, picks up maybe 1.5 yards. So now it's 3rd and goal. They're going to pin this one inside the 2. So now it's going to be on the right hash mark for Bellarmine. And, of course, they line up in that bunch, almost wing T style offense with at least 3 running backs at any given time, 2 tight ends. We'll see if they opt to go with a little play action right here and throw a curveball at that Mitty defense. 1 minute. We'll see. But they are rushing a rushing offense, a power rushing offense. Here it is. Helmers straight ahead. The fullback. Does he get in?
It looked like he was in.
No call. They're going to mark him down at the 1-inch line. It's going to be 4th and goal.
Well, here you go, Sean. You've got a kicker like Grant Bush. He handles both the punting and the kicking. He's good from 35, 40 yards out. It's only a 7-point game. And Bellarmine will
stay on the field. Their offense stays. Carter-Samuels under center. He takes the QB keeper off the right side and falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Bellarmine. Opposite sideline explodes as Bellarmine's going to tie this football game.
That is a big-time confidence shown by Coach Jonda. And what a delayed reaction, Sean.
Carter-Samuels with a 1-yard TD rush. He spun from under center and then rolled his body over towards the right side of that offense, fell just behind the right guard, and now the ever-important PAT try. This is Bush. Grant Bush. The kick is away, and it's good. We are all tied at 7 at Archbishop Mitty High School. Bellarmine 7, Mitty 7 with 29 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got a good one here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
Would you like to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Then tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. This program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. And folks, make sure you stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show where Sean and I will select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Bellarmine goes 10 plays for 50 yards, and it's a QB keeper 1-yard rushing touchdown by KJ Carter-Samuels. It took them 3 quarters, nearly full 3 quarters to do it, but they've tied this football game. Bush on the ensuing kickoff boots it away. Evans will let it bounce at his own 10. Now he takes it, crosses the 15, jukes back inside, falls forward close to the 20-yard line. 24, excuse me.
That may have been the least effective kick or punt we've seen from Bush tonight, although not too much damage done.
So here's Mitty coming out for their second offensive series of this second half. Their first offensive series of the second half was, well, it was bad to say the least. They were pinned inside their own 5. Evans bobbled the ball on the kick return, as he almost did right there, but he was able to get a decent return this time, and they had a huge low block penalty, and they had to punt the ball away, which gave Bellarmine great field position on the 50. We'll see what they can do now from their own 24. Hanson drops back, plenty of time, flings it middle, pass is caught by Monroe, wide open. Dakari Monroe wide open and takes it for a gain of 16 yards.
Excuse me, Sean, wide open. Handsome hits him underneath, and while we have a chance, St. Francis 21, Valley Christian 13 at St. Francis in Mountain View. West Catholic Athletic League play. It's halftime in Mountain View.
A big game right there. We heard Sarah during our halftime show. They had a nice 42-0 advantage up on their opponent. Western Catholic Athletic League, one of the toughest leagues here in the CCS. And it looks like we have reached the end of the third quarter. We've got 1 quarter left to play, folks. Don't go anywhere. Great football action here on this Friday night at Archbishop Mitty High School. Bellarmine 7, Mitty 7 here on PlayOnSports.com.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter. We're giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You may access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every single week, all from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
We've reached the fourth quarter here at Mitty High School. We're all tied at 7 between the Bells and the Monarchs. Mitty switches sides now to start the fourth quarter. They're going left to right on your screen, wearing the black uniforms, gold helmets, gold lettering. It'll be 1st and 10 following the 16-yard reception from Monroe. Hanson will test his luck once again, looking deep downfield. And that ball goes through the hands of Andrew Scott on the seam route towards the near sideline. It looks like it was just outside his stretched fingertips.
Hanson keeps testing the secondary, keeps coming up with the home run ball. None of his receivers have been able to pull one in. That was the closest opportunity thus far tonight.
Picking on Nick Russo. Once again, the cornerback right there, tied up in coverage with Andrew Scott. Scott had the height advantage. Russo listed at 5'7". And for a majority of the night, folks, he's played pretty deep off the football. You see him right now at the bottom of your screen around the 44-yard line, playing about 5 yards off of Andrew Scott once again. 2nd down, Hanson looking Scott's direction for a second straight time, and that time it works. On the post route, Russo with the tackle, but not before Scott takes it for 18 yards.
That slant has worked well for Mitty tonight. Scott, who's not a starter, he rotates in, another good size, 6'4", 185-pound senior.
Scott will head towards the sideline, get a nice slap on the helmet from his teammate Jason Sutton, who checks in. 1st and 10 for Mitty on the Bellarmine 41, moving left to right. 11 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Mitty with the football. This will be a handoff to the fullback. A dive straight ahead. That's O'Leary for a gain of maybe 2.
Mitty keeping this Bellarmine defense honest with the short run, with the run attempt. And guess who's back out on the field? Scott and Wesson as well.
Scott and Wesson both check in, taking a quick breather towards the near sideline is Jason Sutton. 2nd down and 8. If you like defense, folks, this is the ball game to watch. We've got a good one. 2nd down. Hanson throwing for the far sideline, out of bounds, looking for Scott, being covered by Jordan Sawyer along the far sideline. It was a fade route, incomplete, brings up 3rd down and 8.
Hanson keeps testing those waters, Sean, and that one, again, not catchable for the Mitty player. The best one was right here on the near side from Scott a couple of plays ago.
Takari Monroe checks into the football game. He has one catch in this first half. Happened a few moments ago for 16 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 8, 10 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. We're all tied at 7. Mitty with the football on the Bellarmine 39-yard line, in between the hashes. Wyatt Hansen, the quarterback, sends a man in motion from left to right. He loses the football on the snap, but is able to take it and rush ahead down to the 34-yard line. It could have been disastrous for Mitty, but right there, Hansen picks up the football and rushes for about 5 yards. It will be 4th down.
And there's a player down on the play. Castigliani came up with it.
Brian Iglesia appears to be the injured Monarch on the play. Down around the 34-yard line. It's going to be 4th down for Mitty with about 3.5 yards to go. The first down marker is at the 31. Mitty has it at the Bellarmine 34. We're all tied up at 7 here in the fourth quarter. At Mitty High School, it's Bellarmine and Mitty. Bellarmine, for those of you just tuning in, scored their first touchdown, their only touchdown in this ballgame just a few moments ago. It took them almost 3 full quarters to do it, but it came on the legs of their quarterback, KJ Carta-Samuels, a 1-yard rushing score from 1 yard out on 4th down. He spun off his center and fell just on the rear of his offensive guard, and he was able to put it into the end zone. And for Mitty, their quarterback also had a rushing score. It was Wyatt Hansen, a 6-yard rushing touchdown. That happened way back in the first half, as we're happy to announce that Brian Iglesia is on his feet walking towards the near sideline. He appears to be okay.
Again, this matchup, Bellarmine ranked number 3 by the Mercury News. Mitty number 4. Bellarmine actually started the season at number 2.
Mitty making some last-minute substitutions. You see Hansen barking at his sideline saying, hey, go back, as 2 players stay towards the sideline. And Kyle Evans comes back into the huddle late. Mitty using a lot of time here. Whistles blow, and I believe Mitty is forced to use a timeout here.
Well, that's unfortunate that they already had the stoppage of clock with the injury, and whatever needed to be communicated was not, as Iglesia did come off the field.
And that will drive head coach Matt Haniger nuts right there. They had an injury timeout, as you mentioned, Kirsten, some time to think about what their next play was going to be on 4th down. Keep in mind, it's 4th down right now, folks. 4th and 2 for Mitty. And you saw the quarterback, Wyatt Hansen, barking at his sideline, trying to get the right players into the huddle. Kyle Evans came in late, and they were forced to burn a timeout. Now both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. 10 minutes and 5 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter. Mitty back into the huddle. Bellarmine's defense heads over to the 33-yard line. Keep your eyes on Kyle Eberton. He's big number 78, the nose tackle for the Bells, lined up right over the football. It's his job to stop anything right here that's coming at him, especially on 4th down. Man in motion, they're going to go off the right tackle. Ball pops loose, and it's recovered by Mitty. You've got to be kidding me.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good all the time.
Zane Carl gets that ball in midair like a shortstop, taking a high hop, and that's a Mitty 1st down.
And that is a tough pill to swallow for the Bellarmine Bells.
Just when you think you've seen it all on 4th down, the ball carrier goes right side. Great lick delivered. The ball was placed in the right hand of the ball carrier. Helmet jarred it loose. And Johnny on the spot was Zane Carl. 1st and 10. Hansen looking for the post. Incomplete.
That's the first time the post hasn't worked tonight.
Going Nola, the intended target. 2nd down.
And there was a chance that ball could have been picked off. Another score, Sean, at the half. Los Gatos 21, Wilcox 14.
Great matchup right there. Just a touchdown separating those 2 powerhouses. 9 minutes and 42 seconds left to play here in this fourth quarter. We're all tied at 7. Defensive battle from the get-go here at Mitty High School. Monarchs with the football, going left to right on your screen. Wyatt Hansen under center. He has 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. D-line jumped. Maybe an offensive lineman moved because of it, but if that's the case, it'll be a penalty against Bellarmine. In the area of offsides or encroachment, we'll see what the call is. And indeed, it will be against Bellarmine. Encroachment, that's a 5-yard penalty. And that will put the football at the 25-yard line. It's now 2nd down and 5.
Mitty says, hey, I'll take it. I'll take fumbling the ball and picking it up for the 1st down, and I'll take an encroachment.
Wyatt Hansen barking out the calls right there like a true quarterback. Kudos goes to the offensive line for not jumping right there. A lot of times it's difficult for that offensive line to stay solid like a stone. But they did their job. 2nd down and 5. Evans in motion. This is a handoff to O'Leary. O'Leary driving ahead. And take a look on your screen. 3 bells around him trying to strip that football away. And one of the first names that jumps out at my eye was Dominic Luca, the big man, number 52, trying to get his big right paw in there and strip that football out.
Luca, the 6'1" senior, 220 pounds. Again, the only returning lineman from last year's CCS championship squad and one of the captains on the Bells team this year.
9 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Mitty, they'll face a 3rd down and 2 on the Bellarmine 22. Hand off to the fullback once again. O'Leary refusing to go down as he's now pushed towards the far side. This will be very close to the 1st down marker. The marker stands at the 20. The ball will be placed just shy of the Bellarmine 20-yard line. The officials will spot the football just shy of the 1st down marker. It's 4th and inches.
Well, the Bells defense has been stingy at times tonight. This is their biggest stop. They need to come through here. It
would be a 37-yard field goal try for Langelis, but he remains on the sideline as Hansen bowls ahead, a QB keeper right off the center. Daniel Mendoza paved the way. They needed 2 inches. They pick up about 5 yards.
On this possession, I'm really realizing or notating how much Bellarmine's defense has been on the field tonight. Even though there's a 7-7 score, Bellarmine was so 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, punt, punt, punt. A lot of these players do play both ways. Bellarmine does not have a lot of depth. That's what Coach Janda said. One of the weaknesses this year, not a lot of depth, and I'm really sensing the fatigue, if you will, for this Bellarmine defense.
Hansen under center, 1st and 10. Evans gets the carry, goes left side. Picked up by 3 defenders and driven backwards.
What do I know? They look fresh as daisies.
Colin Birdsell, first linebacker to come up and make the tackle.
You know, they have defended the run on the outside just admirably tonight. They forced Mitty to go inside or into the air, and Mitty has found success that way, but there they did stop the run on the outside.
7 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. The 11th play of this offensive drive upcoming for Mitty. They have the ball on the Bellarmine left hash mark, the Bellarmine 16-yard line. It's 2nd down and 9. Evans in motion. Hansen will look for the end zone. No one home. He threw it into empty coverage. The safety was closing in. Jared Volner nearly had an interception.
Well, not only could no Mitty Monarch catch up with that pass, no defender either. The intended receiver, I believe, was Andrew Scott, who simply either ran the wrong route, obviously some major miscommunications.
I'm not sure. Like you said, I'm not sure if Scott maybe fell down right there trying to execute his route.
He cut into the inside.
But nobody was home in the area of that ball. It was thrown in the end zone along the right hash mark. No one was home, and I tell you what, if Jared Volner was 2 steps quicker, he would have had a pick in the end zone. That could have been a touchback. Instead, it's 3rd down and 9 for Mitty on the Bellarmine 16. 7 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Hansen will pass once again, looking for the post. Nobody home, and he goes down. It's a sack on the play. I told you to look out for him. That's Kyle Eberton with the sack.
The junior, 240 pounds, 6'3", the 2nd sack of the night for Bellarmine. Great coverage by the Bellarmine secondary. Nobody was open for Hansen.
He was looking for the post. They jumped it. Hansen couldn't fire. And now they're going to line up for a field goal try.
Langelis is out there.
This will be a 41-yard field goal try for the kicker, Phil Langelis. Good thing for Langelis, the ball is between the hashes. 41 yards. Kick is away, and it's good. From 41 yards, Phil Langelis has given Mitty a 10-7 lead.
Well, after a terrific night by the Bellarmine punter, it is the field goal kicker of Mitty breaking this tie with this 41-yard attempt.
10-7, Phil Langelis drills it from 41. I mentioned he had that ball in between the hashes. That thing was picture perfect, split the uprights, and the Monarchs have a 10-7 lead with 6 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in this ball game.
Would you like to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Well, then tell your school, sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. This program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. Folks, stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show where Sean and I, well, we'll have to figure out which one of these terrific high school football players will be our player of the game. That will come from the winning team, as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Langelis boots the kick away on the ensuing kickoff. Up man from the 7. And this appears to be Daniel Brown, who will get stood up at the Bellarmine 21. Bellarmine will bring their offense back out onto the field, this being just their 3rd offensive series of the second half. Their last offensive series went 50 yards in 10 plays for a 1-yard rushing touchdown by quarterback KJ Carta Samuels. Just a few moments ago, Phil Langelis drilled a 41-yard field goal for Mitty to make this score 10-7 in favor of the Monarchs. Bells with the football going right to left on your screen. They have it in between the hashes on their own 21. Wearing the white uniforms and the navy helmets, blue lettering. This will be a pitch towards the far side. Sanfilippo, it appears, as he crosses over the 25-yard line and picks up close to 5. Packed house here at Archbishop Mitty High School. One of the most highly talked about games here in the CCS. You see the alumni surrounding the entire stadium. The Bellarmine sideline is packed. Everyone showing up here for this big WCAL matchup. This is a fullback dive that goes absolutely nowhere. Mitty sniffed it out, and it looked like Robert O'Leary came in there and stopped that play for absolutely nothing. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 5. Bellarmine sticking to their bread and butter, but it just did not work on that previous play. 5 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Mitty with a field goal advantage. Jared Vollner, the wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. 3rd down. Carta Samuels under pressure, flings it near side, hits his receiver who breaks away. This is Vollner, thrown back at the 49. I called him out at the bottom of the screen. He was covered one-on-one, and he picks up the 1st down.
Another big pass play for Bellarmine. It looked like some Mitty defenders had their hands up, looked like they almost had a chance of deflecting that pass, but it just seemed to have a beat on for Vollner.
Cornerback missed the tackle on that play. It looked like Jacob Wesson, perhaps. Correction, that was actually Erdman. Missed a big tackle right there. 1st down for Bellarmine. Option play, finally pitched. This is Brown. Brown, nowhere to go as 3 Monarchs come up and deliver the heat. That's going to go for a loss of close to 3.
Mitty defense playing with a lead, being very aggressive.
Mitty's defense Ferocious right there on the toss play, going to the far side. 4 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in this fourth quarter. The ball is now marked down on the Bellarmine 47-yard line. It's second down and 12 following the 2-yard loss. This is Carter Samuels, play action. Eludes Sutton, throws deep, has a man, intercepted! Picked off by Jacob Wesson around the 10.
Well, we know Jacob Wesson can sure catch. He's been showing us all night on offense. I'm not sure if Carter Samuels would make that same throw if he had the chance to do it again. Throwing into double coverage like that, and Wesson showing he's got the sure hands. I don't think he's dropped or bobbled or not caught a pass tonight. That one seemed delivered right for him. What a great diving catch.
And Kirsten, that ball was just underthrown right there. He had a man towards that near corner. It was a deep throw, well over 40 yards in the air. And it fell into the hands of Jacob Wesson. And I shouldn't even say fell. That kid earned that interception. Falling back, diving up in the air, using both hands to catch the ball at its highest point. And the Monarchs will now have the football with 3:44 to go. We'll see if they can close this football game out. Evans, ball carrier, tattooed at the 15-yard line.
And once again, the Bellarmine defense is out on the field with barely a rest.
And we have a timeout on the field. Bellarmine will use their second timeout of this second half. They have one timeout remaining, 10-7 Mitty with 3:35 to play.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also a place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here. Sean, this year the Central Coast section passed a rule that any football game, whether non-league, non-conference, non-divisional, will be played to its conclusion. That means no team, no game could have ended in a tie. Of course, now we're in league play. Last year, Mitty went 7-4-1 overall, 4-2-1 in league, and that's because they tied St. Ignatius 22-22. Now that there's a regional playoff season, part of this season, there will be no more ties, just in case our viewers were wondering.
And right now, they need to show up on defense in order to even tie this football game up. It's second down and 9. Handoff goes right side. Ball carrier tackled around the 17. Ramirez. I beg your pardon, that's Moscow.
Well, and I was going to ask, where has Daniel Moscow gone? We saw him in the first quarter. Last week, 4 catches for 45 yards, 4 rushes for 81 yards, and a TD. We've not seen him often here tonight.
Oligabadi on the tackle on that previous play. Brings up third down and 6. He's the middle linebacker, folks, number 16 for Bellarmine. Right off the nose tackle. And this is a simple dive towards the left side of the offensive line. Bellarmine's defense holds strong. Whistles blow, and now Bellarmine will appear to use their last timeout of this football game. Bellarmine out of timeouts. Monarchs with 2 timeouts. We'll stay live with you here on PlayOnSports.com. Kirsten Fairchilds to my left. I'm Sean Hennessy, bringing you the live play-by-play action here at Mitty High School. It has been a defensive battle from start to finish in this football game. I say finish. We've got 2 minutes and 46 seconds left to play in this fourth quarter. Bellarmine now all out of timeouts, Kirsten. Their defense holds up strong. It's going to be fourth down here. Their offense has to get something going in this fourth quarter if they want to tie or perhaps win this football game.
Best defensive effort from the night. The Bells have played well on defense. They've been called upon much more often than their offense. McAndrews, the punter, out for Mitty. Monarch fans need the best punt he's got in this situation.
Sanfilippo, the return man, stands at the Bellarmine 45-yard line. This is Mark McAndrews, the punter from his own 6. We'll see if Bellarmine sends the house. Here they come. McAndrews, plenty of time to punt this one away. A nice high spiraling kick. Sanfilippo takes it from the 39 at the 50 and falls forward at the 46. A beautiful return, close to 15 yards right there. Bellarmine will have phenomenal field position with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left to play.
Sanfilippo running to his right, running slightly behind. That's not a sure catch by any means, Sean, but he did a great job turning it, catching the ball, turning it upfield, and giving Bellarmine an opportunity here already in Mitty territory.
Looked like Willie Mays trying to catch that ball over the shoulder right there.
Exactly.
1st and 10, Bellarmine. On the Mitty 46, they line up with 3 wide receivers towards the left. Shotgun formation for quarterback KJ Carter-Samuels. He has one back in front of him. He looks left. He fires. And the pass is dropped. It was intended for Nick Russo. Having a tough night. He drops that one right there. Brings up 2nd down.
That hurts. Certainly a catchable ball.
And Nick Russo right there just running a quick 5-yard out route towards the near sideline. Had his arm stretched out for it. It did hit his hands. And you know the old saying, anytime it touches your hands, you got to bring it in. So he cannot bring that one in. It brings up 2nd down and 10. Stops the clock with 2:30 to play. Same formation once again. 3 wide receivers over towards the bottom of your screen. 2nd down. Carter-Samuels now pointing towards the right outside backer on that defense.
Someone's got to pick up this guy.
Here comes the blitz. Carter-Samuels flushed out far side. Finally lets it go. And that one's incomplete. The only man relatively close was Jaden Sawyer, and he was standing at the 40. He throws that one way out of bounds, and now it's 3rd down for Bellarmine.
Yeah, he's lucky Sawyer was there. I'm sure he saw him, or we would have had a intentional grounding.
3rd down for Bellarmine, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Left to play in the 4th quarter. That last play chewed off, 8 seconds off the game clock. Bellarmine is out of timeouts. They trailed this football game 10-7. Ball's on the Mitty 41. 4 wide receivers lined up this time. For Carter-Samuels, he's in the shotgun. 2 wideouts to each side. He looks middle, now he throws deep down the middle, has a man caught, touchdown! Jared Vollner wide open as he splits the safeties, and Bellarmine takes the lead. The crowd goes crazy.
54 yards, and I was thinking, Sean, Carter-Samuels, like he did before, he made up his mind he was going to throw that ball, and Jared Vollner hold it in as if he had no pressure in the world on him, and right in front of the fans. Can you imagine if he dropped it? No way.
The Bellarmine student body went absolutely bananas as Grant Bush lines up for the PAT, and he drills it. Bellarmine, with 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the football game, has taken the lead for the first time. It's 14-10 Bells.
Carter-Samuels, the junior quarterback. A triumphant feeling, I'm sure, to come through. The pass game has suffered quite a bit, perhaps only 2 good solid catches and another TD throw for Carter-Samuels to put in his resume. Again, just a junior.
Best drive, best momentum-gaining drive of the night for Bellarmine. And you've got to give credit to Sanfilippo, the return man, getting that key return to take the ball down past the 50. That was a 46-yard touchdown reception by Jared Vollner. He split the safeties. A huge play. So 46 yards through the air from Carter-Samuels to Jared Vollner, and Bellarmine has a 14-10 lead. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left to play. Mitty does have 2 timeouts remaining in this football game. Here's the kicker, Bush, booting this one away. Evans will be able to return this. Secures it and is tripped up by Changris. Austin Changris at the last second puts his right hand in there. I thought Evans had a lane.
I thought Evans had a lane, but Evans, I think, makes the Mitty crowd have fits. He's bobbled the return, but he doesn't lose it. But still, it's not a clean return, but it did look like he had a lane. You got to credit the Bellarmine special teams for closing that lane in a hurry.
Kyle Evans getting a lot of oohs and groans out of this Mitty crowd. At least the third time here tonight where he's bobbled that punt or kick return. Here's Mitty from their own 30-yard line. Hansen under pressure. Now he rolls out far side, tries to slip a tackler and does, and falls forward, but that will be a sack. It's a 1-yard loss. Bellarmine sniffs it out. The clock continues to roll. 1 minute and 55 seconds.
Bellarmine players getting up gingerly.
Abiog with the tackle. He's the outside backer on the right side of that Bellarmine defense. 2nd down and 11. Hansen, plenty of time looking for a fade route. One-on-one coverage. The ball is nearly intercepted. It looks like that goes out of bounds. Providing the coverage was Jaden Sawyer right on the hip pocket of Andrew Scott. A picture-perfect defensive play.
Absolutely. Great coverage. Sawyer had a good defensive play earlier in the ball game.
1 minute and 33 seconds remaining on the game clock. The Bellarmine student section on their feet, clapping their hands, and they have every reason to. Their Bells have fought long and have fought hard in this football game, and they now lead 14-10. Mitty on a huge 3rd down. 4 wide receivers lined up for Wyatt Hansen. Sends Evans in motion. Has a nice pocket. Now it collapses, and there's the sack.
Would you like me to do the honors, sir?
Castagnani with the sack.
Well done.
My
or shall
goodness.
I say bravo?
He slips through. Mitty had a nice pocket there for at least 2, maybe a 3 count, but Castagnani got in there and brought down the quarterback by the legs. Now it's 4th down, and Mitty burns a timeout.
Boy, Sean, I tell you, I think these Mitty fans are stunned quite a bit. In fact, I think you and I were trying to figure out who our player of the game was going to be from Mitty. Wesson obviously a strong candidate with the pick, and then Bellarmine comes through with the big play on offense. Their defense playing as well as we've seen them tonight, and I think the Mitty fans can't believe it.
I was just going to say, we've had only one official turnover in this football game. It was the interception that was thrown by KJ Carter-Samuels, and then all of a sudden he comes through in the clutch on a 3rd down on the previous offensive series for Bellarmine and drills a 46-yard touchdown reception to Jared Volner. And now all the pressure in the world, all the cards are leaned towards Mitty on this play. It's 4th down and 15. If Mitty converts, they're still alive. If Bellarmine stops them, it's more than likely the ball game. 4th down. Hansen rolls out towards the near side, lets it rip. Incomplete. Incomplete. The Bellarmine sideline erupts, and that's a turnover on downs.
That ball thrown too low. Hansen, as you can see, on the run, being chased once again. But that ball, we saw Chandler Ramirez lay out, unable to bring it in.
Oh, you can just feel the heartache here on the Archbishop Mitty sideline. That's where our broadcast booth is located, right above the 50, about 20 rows up, and it's pure silence here at Archbishop Mitty High School. What a football game as Bellarmine holds strong on 4th down, and now the Bells offense will line up on the Mitty 25-yard line in the best offensive formation there is. It's the old win the game drill as the quarterback of Bellarmine, KJ Carter-Samuels, takes a knee to burn out the clock as there's 1 minute and 13 seconds left to play, but Mitty does have 1 timeout remaining, and they decide to use their last timeout. They are all out of timeouts. It will be 2nd down.
You have to credit Mike Janda, whatever he said to that Bellarmine squad in the locker room at halftime, especially to his defense. That, again, it'll be interesting to see the stats on time of possession, but Bellarmine defense obviously called upon often in this ball game. It's offense only 17 yards in the first half. But, you know, it's come down to a few plays. Big guys up front working hard, fighting hard in the trenches, but it's come down to a few big plays, and Bellarmine made the last one. Sean, you could say that, you know, whoever's going to have the ball last, per se, in this game would win this game. These are two very even teams.
And Bellarmine saved the absolute best for last. Jared Volner catches the ball of his life as he splits the safeties deep and gives Bellarmine a 14-10 lead as Carta Samuels takes another knee. And now there is 1 minute and 5 seconds marching away on the game clock. Mitty all out of timeouts. They cannot stop the clock. As you hear the Bellarmine sideline clapping, chanting. They are excited. It took Bellarmine darn near 3.5 quarters, but they did it. They took the lead in this football game, and they're about to come out of here with a victory and advance to 2-0 in league play.
Well, and Mitty drops to 0-2. Unbelievable. But when you look at, one was to Sarah, 30-21 last week, and now to Bellarmine, 14-10. I feel for the teams that Mitty's going to play the rest of the way, because they will certainly be motivated to come through with a W.
Absolute heartache for Archbishop Mitty. They hung in there. They led this football game for 3.5 quarters. But you got to give it up to Bellarmine, the Bells of Bellarmine High School. As the clock winds down to 10 seconds, that's going to do it. The Bells offense heads back over towards the far sideline. And let the celebration begin as Bellarmine, the road team, comes into Archbishop Mitty High School and defeats the Monarchs by a final score of 14-10 here on PlayOnSports.com. What a football game.
A great high school football game.
It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, you look at how their weeks have gone, with the exception of De La Salle's opening loss. Bellarmine's opening loss to De La Salle. These teams are offensive juggernauts. They're able to put up a lot of points against very good teams, and I think it just speaks to the quality of their defense that this was such a hard-fought and relatively low-scoring game.
Final score, Bellarmine 14, Archbishop Mitty 10. Folks, that's going to do it for the football game, but don't go anywhere. Stick around. Kirsten and I are going to take a moment and decide who our PlayOnSports.com player of the game is, and when we come back, we'll announce who that player of the game is, and I, Sean Hennessy, will have a live interview with that player, all following the football game right here on PlayOnSports.com. Once again, final score, Bellarmine 14, Archbishop Mitty 10. We'll be right back with more action right here on PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back, folks, to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Sean Hennessy here with you. Kirsten Fairchilds is making her way through the masses down onto the field, grabbing our PlayOnSports.com player of the game. Number 10, the quarterback for the Bellarmine Bells, KJ Carta Samuels. He had 2 touchdowns here tonight, one on the ground and one big one through the air. A 46-yard throwing touchdown to Jared Volner in the final minutes of the fourth quarter to give Bellarmine the lead and eventually the victory here tonight as Bellarmine defeats Archbishop Mitty by a final score of 14-10. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have a live interview with quarterback KJ Carta Samuels of Bellarmine High School. 14-10, Bellarmine on top of Archbishop Mitty. We'll be right back.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Bellarmine does the unthinkable, folks. They come back after 3.5 quarters and defeat the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs by a final score of 14-10. Sean Hennessy here with you, our PlayOnSports.com player of the game, Jared Volner of Bellarmine, coming up with that last several minute touchdown reception. Let's go back to that play because that signified this game. That really decided the outcome of this matchup. What was the play call? What did you see? How were you able to execute the reception?
The play was called type 5 double drag, so we're lined up in a spread 22, which means there's 4 receivers on the field, 2 on each side, and before every play you look at the defense, you know what's going to be open pretty much, but I saw a cover 2 safety, and I just wanted to split it like I've been working on in practice, and KJ threw a great ball, so.
A phenomenal pass. Yeah. He was able to hit that deep towards the middle of the field. The Bellarmine sideline erupted. The student section went crazy. What did Coach Janda say to you guys once this football game was finished?
He just said, great job fighting. We fought for that game. Our defense played great. That was a big focus for us. Offense will come if defense wins championships,
Jared Volner, our PlayOnSports.com player of the game, 14-10 final score. Bellarmine knocks off Archbishop Mitty. You guys advanced to 4-1 on the year. Most importantly, 2-0 in league play. A long way back, the De La Salle football game. We all know about it, 41-7 defeat. You guys have put that behind you. You've marched ahead. You've steamrolled ahead. What has the mood and the atmosphere been like in the clubhouse since that De La Salle defeat?
We knew we needed to pick it up. We didn't play very well that game. We didn't really play that well the following games either. We played well, but we could always do better, and we're just working to get better every single game. So.
And how about tonight? Defensively, it was really a defensive battle from start to finish, really. 3.5 quarters, your offense comes up big time. How did your defense prep for this matchup, and what do you think of the overall performance your defense put out there tonight?
They're a great team. We've watched a lot of film on them. They're really good at throwing the ball. They're really good at running that option offense that they run, and we really prepped for that option, That's one of the hardest plays you can stop, so it was great.
Jared Volner, our player of the game here tonight, as Bellarmine is victorious versus Archbishop Mitty. Huge packed house here tonight. It's a big matchup each and every year. When people talk about the WCAL and the teams that are involved in that particular league, it brings a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation for this matchup. How did you guys kind of stray away from that, I guess, and focus in on the actual football game?
I actually like to use the crowd to lift me up. As much as you want to zone it out, it really does help you sometimes. And our student section is great. They travel. And they're always cheering loud, and that helps us so much.
Jared Volner, congratulations. Our player of the game, our PlayOnSports.com player of the game. Final score, Bellarmine 14, Archbishop Mitty 10. Folks, stick around. We'll be right back to wrap things up with the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. Don't go anywhere.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back to PlayOnSports.com, everyone. Kirsten Fairchilds rejoined alongside me. I'm Sean Hennessy. What a football game we just witnessed here at Archbishop Mitty High School as Bellarmine comes back to defeat Archbishop Mitty by a final score of 14-10. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com postgame show. Just a few moments ago, we finished up our Player of the Game interview with Jared Volner. He was the individual that caught that big reception for Bellarmine and gave them the victory. He was so excited. He was so thorough with his explanation. But how about this? Here's the kicker, folks. Just a few seconds ago, he goes, I got to get out of here. I got to study for my SATs tomorrow.
Not only that, when I went over to get him, he was being interviewed by 5 different media outlets. And he broke away since we're live, and he was walking next to me. He goes, I can't believe this. I've never gotten so much attention in my life after a football game. Everyone talks to me. Everyone wants to talk to me. I was cramping during the game. I'm so lucky I made that catch. And I said, yeah, you were right in front of your student body. You could not possibly have dropped that ball. So I don't know how he's going to get to sleep tonight. But yes, you're right. He has the SATs tomorrow.
And KJ Carter-Samuels was the quarterback for Bellarmine here tonight. He put up a performance, a second-half performance like none other. He had one interception, but he had that rushing score on the ground. He threw the monster bomb at the end of the game. We originally put him down as our PlayOnSports.com player of the game. But as always, we like to talk with our coaching staffs. We like to get the opinions from the head coach. And what did Coach Janda tell you when you were down there as you were kind of debating over the couple players we were talking about?
Yeah, if it's clear-cut, I think if Mitty had won the ball game, we pretty much would have known who we were going to go to. If it's not so clear-cut, we go to the head coaches. And I walked up to Coach Janda, who just was kind of wild-eyed. I mean, such a wild end to this ball game, and said, "Who's your player of the game?" And he said, "I don't know."
Like any good coach, he wants to bring all 50, 60 guys up here, right? Oh, it was just a hard-fought football game, Kirsten. 14-10 the final score. It took Bellarmine 3.5 quarters to come back into this football game, and it was that one play. It was an offensive surge, but their defense held Mitty in that second half and really put the pressure on the Monarchs down the stretch.
Well, and you said it, a second-half offensive performance, just 17 yards by Bellarmine offense in the first half. The defense played well in the first half, but it was those last 2 possessions, and they were on their side of the field, if you will. They've got their prep squad, their student body, and as you heard Jared say that you're supposed to tune out the crowd, well, they obviously use the crowd to fuel them on. What a big victory for Bellarmine. You can only expect that the Bells are going to get better. This will just add to their confidence. I mean, since losing to De La Salle, they've reeled off 4 games in a row.
4 games in a row. They moved to 4-1 on the year and 2-0 in the WCAL. On the flip side, for Archbishop Mitty, they now move to 3-2 on the season and a disappointing start to the WCAL, an 0-2 start. You almost have to ask yourself, how are they going to change? How are they going to fight their way back to break even at 500 and hopefully make a chance at a postseason run?
Well, they can say we've got the toughest 2 teams out of the way. I mean, Sarah Bellarmine back-to-back in the West Catholic Athletic League, which could be argued that every game is like that. Sean, they're turning off the lights here at Mitty. The temporary lights are being turned off as they continue to go. But I think both Mitty and Bellarmine will do well the rest of the way out.
2 teams that fought very hard here tonight from start to finish. But in the end, it was Bellarmine who came out victorious by a score of 14-10. Folks, that's going to do it here from Archbishop Mitty High School as Bellarmine knocks off Mitty by a final score of 14-10. I'd like to thank my videographer, Joey Colbert, my producer, Kevin Smith, and my analyst, Kirsten Fairchilds. I'm Sean Hennessy. We'll see you next week right here on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Bye-bye.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to PlayOnSports.com.